Hola, hola, hola. Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Spiritual Remedy. My name is Sunshine Day, and I get to be the host of this morning's conversation and meditation. Uh, I see a world where clean and sober people are living their best life and loving it. And how I contribute to you, if that is your position there, is that I provide spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation. Because I am on a quest to assist and be a part of awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. You are magnificent. We are all magnificent. It's just that we don't recognize that. And for folks who are in recovery, folks who are clean and sober, good morning, Mari. For folks who are clean and sober or who are experiencing recovery of whatever. Now, when I talk about recovery and sobriety, good morning, Bertha. I love it that you start your week with me here. When we're talking about sobriety, we're talking about having a clear mind, clear and free from all those things that are weapons, as my friend says, weapons of mass distraction, whether it be stress, whether it be drugs or alcohol, whether it be drama, whether it be food. Good morning, Nancy, and good morning, Sunny Day. These are the things that we want to be clear from in order to experience our best life. It is important for us to recognize that when we're focused on one thing and that one thing just eliminates everything else from our life, that, wow, is this an addiction? Is this an obsession? Is this something that is taking me away from my greatness and from my true self? Is this something that is preventing me from living my best life? And those are the questions we get to ask, and we get to separate ourselves from those things that are distractions, weapons of mass distraction. Debbie Trojan, I love you big, beloved. Thank you so much for joining me here this morning. So, this month we've been focusing on connectedness, and in my book, Begin Within, it's a playbook for living your genuine life, and that's where we've been taking the topics from. Connectedness as it relates to our recovery, as it relates to our life, as it relates to who we are and what we're doing. Good morning, Paul. Wow, I haven't seen you in forever, Paul. So glad that you're here with me. As we look at connectedness in a world that seems so fragmented, we as humanity, as human beings, we must begin to take a look at how we participate in the disconnection from people and the disconnection from life. And we get an opportunity to actually find the connections and get connected to that which is for our highest good and that which is for the highest good of humanity. You see, when I think about sometimes in certain recovery groups or whatever, people are like, oh yeah, I can't be with those people. I get that. We want to change our playground and our playmates as we get healthy and as we begin to see a life beyond our addiction, right? Beyond the booze, the pills, the fix, the overeating, the undereating, the over-exercising. As we begin to let go of the drama, yes, we get an opportunity to, quote unquote, disconnect, even times from social media and from our cell phones. We get a chance to disconnect. The key is to do it with love and to do it from a place of not that I am better than you. It is more from a place of I am getting connected with that internal power, presence, and life that then affords me the opportunity to live so healthy and so free that I'm not hating on you, that I'm not thinking that you're less than me or different, but that indeed we begin to then have this connectedness and we begin to help humanity instead of hinder humanity by being fragmented and by our unhealthy way of being. I'll have you know, just in case you can hear some noise in the background, our roof is getting done. So right now, there's like about 3 or 4 guys on the roof kind of tearing off the new stuff, and soon going to be putting on some new stuff. And, I was thinking about the analogy of replacing a roof, especially because there's, so much noise and activity happening in my immediate, surroundings. And I was thinking about how that connects with this topic of connectedness. And sometimes what happens for us, when I think about a roof, I think about the top, right? It is that top layer of protection. For us here, it is our mind, our brain, our head, right? And sometimes what happens for me, and the way I'm making this really, really work, is that sometimes what we used to think and believe before is now worn out, outdated, and needs to be replaced. And sometimes, especially for those folks in recovery, everybody drinks, everybody drugs, or I can eat whatever I want, or the drama, this or that, the other thing, the stress, the fear, the doubt, which can also be quite addictive. We don't know how to live without it. And just like, a whole new roof, it can be expensive. It can be expensive to have, a bunch of folks up there, tearing down the old stuff and then, putting on the new stuff that is going to be, thank you, Paul, right? Paul says, yeah, so true. Always choose love first and let go of the grudge and the anger, right? Yeah, we gotta let that stuff go. We got to let go of the old way of thinking. And it's not because it's old. So let me just say that this home that we get to live in this year is 100 years old. So we're not going to get rid of it, right? It's not because it's old. It's the roof no longer does what it needs to do. It no longer protects. It no longer, helps to insulate and keep in what needs to be kept in and keep out what needs to be kept out, right? In other words, like the rain, right? So it's not because it's old. So the terminology that I want to use is actually the things that no longer serve you, the things that no longer serve me. The antiquated way of thinking and believing that no longer serve us is what we get to replace. And as I think about that roof getting torn off and maybe, new woods, new siding, new things getting replaced, it's because these things that are there now, probably even 100 years old, it no longer serves. It is not adequate for today's times. And when I think about us in recovery, so this program is geared toward people in recovery, but a lot of people identify, so they hang on. They don't even have a problem with drugs or alcohol or eating or sex or gambling or anything like that. But yet the benefits of a spiritual way of living has its benefits for all. And so as I'm thinking about this idea of connectedness and making the connection with the roof and our thinking, we get an opportunity now as people in recovery to start thinking and believing that we are not just this silo, but we get an opportunity to think about our connectedness with all of life, that we are actually connected to our Creator, that creative intelligence, that power, that presence, that life that has created everything, that we are actually connected. And when we are connected, we are one. When we're connected, we are one. And that whatever it is that we call it, good morning, Silver, I love you, beloved. Whenever we are in that consciousness of I and my creator are one. That which I am is made by the creative intelligence. Now, some people call it God, some people call it higher power, some people call it love, beauty, some people call it, a mother earth, father sky. Whatever it is that you call it, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're acknowledging that there's this power and this presence that has created everything, and it's created everything out of itself. Therefore, your life is its life. It is living in, through, and as you. What is that thing that separates you? I'm not trying to be morbid here, but what is the thing that separates you from a corpse? What is the thing, the one thing that separates your life from a corpse? The difference. What's the difference between a body in the morgue and you? Now, that body has a brain. That body has blood. It's not moving, but it has blood, it has organs, it has all those things. But there is one thing that corpse does not have. Breath. And that breath, thank you, Silver. Breath. That breath is life, right? Because the air is all around that corpse, but it is breath, the breath of life. Exactly. The breath of life. That breath of life is spirit. That breath of life is higher power. That breath of life is God. That breath of life is, Mother Earth, Father Sky, infinite intelligence. That is what that is. And so by the mere fact that we have the breath of life, we have life. Life is God. Life is higher power. That power, that presence that makes this flesh animated. That is this power and presence, and we are connected to it. We're connected because when we're disconnected, then we're the corpse. But when we're connected, then we are the thing itself. We, me, this life, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of connectedness. Is that we are always connected. Do not be confused. As long as you have breath of life, you are connected with this eternal power and presence that has created everything out of itself. This power and presence that is all knowing, that is all powerful, that is everywhere present, that is, I'm starting to get super, super excited about it, right? Now, here's the deal. Is that we forget this. I love this. This is sign language for forget. It's almost like we wipe the mind, right? We forget that we are connected with this life force, this life energy. We're always connected. That's right, Sunny Day. Always connected. And the key here is to use that connection on a regular basis. If I'm connected to source, then how come I'm not using it? Why am I not using source for all of my needs, for everything that comes up for me, especially for those of us in recovery, when we get an opportunity to do, sometimes we just kind of take it for granted, right? We take it for granted. And what I'm encouraging us by these Monday, lives is to remember our connectedness, to take this for granted. I love you, Paul. To pause and recognize several times a day that we are connected, and that right where we are, this power, this presence, this infinite intelligence is working on our behalf for our good. For our good. Imagine, I remember being a kid and, wanting to pick out my stickball team, and I want this person and this person and this person on my team, and the other team captain would pick that person and that person and that person. Well, check this out. That infinite intelligence, that power, that presence is already on our team. What else do you want? Right? Now, what's interesting is that many times, people say, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday during my time at the Downey Center for Spiritual Living, But many times people say that life is a journey. And a lot of people subscribe to that. And just like the new roof is happening, the new roof is getting taken off and a new roof is being put on. I'm inviting you to put on a new roof in this way and take off the old roof in this way. What if life is not a journey with a particular destination in which to be? What if life was more playful, like a symphony? When I think about the vastness of the universe, and it's spinning and everything happening and all the planets and everything, it doesn't have a destination where it's trying to get to. It's not in a rush trying to get anywhere. It's just simply being and unfolding and living in its eternal isness. So what if, like Silver and like Sunny Day and like many others on this page who are musicians, what if life was actually more of a symphony or a concert? What if life was actually just playful? A musician, doesn't work the trumpet. They play the trumpet, right? They play the trumpet. There's no rush. There's this song that you sing. There's this song that you dance to. What if instead of life being a journey that we're on and we're trying to get to some destination in the great by and by, what if indeed we actually were so connected with our life presence, with our breath of life, that we were actually like the universe and were playful? I'm not telling you not to have any responsibilities, right? What I am suggesting is that as we play, we're unfolding and we're living in the present moment. That we're in the moment. The musician who's playing the piano or the violin or the flute or the trumpet or the drums, they're in that moment doing that thing. They're living it. What if we were so connected with our internal guidance that we could just live and allow life to unfold beautifully and magnificently? Wow. What if life was a symphony and a concert instead of a journey? What if you saw that your life was actually eternal? And that this flesh suit, because who we really are, like Silver said, who we really are and what is different is that we have breath of life. And really, technically, when we really examine it, we're not necessarily that body. We just inhabited that body. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie says, I just bought my guitar out yesterday and dusted it off to learn how to play it. And isn't it great? Because I just got, for my birthday the other day, my beloved bought me a hang pen. And in learning how to play it, just like you're doing, Debbie, and learning how to play your guitar again, it is just really being in the moment. It is just, for me, on my hang pan, it's just like hearing the notes, being with it. When I do this, what does that sound like? And what, just being in that moment. It's that dance, it's that play. Now, when we're with other people, what if we weren't so stuffy, and so rigid? What if in fact we were to have our interactions with people be that kind of play? We're trying this out, and not that we're insulting people, but we're just simply being ourselves. When I'm learning how to play, I'm being myself. I'm not trying to, I'm me, just learning. And if I'm in that spot with others, what is that like? And for those of us in recovery, what if we were so connected with our internal breath of life that we were just allowing ourselves to really be in tune with what foods we were going to take in, or that we're going to drink more water. That's been my thing every morning, right? Drinking water and being in the moment. Exactly. Being in the moment. That is the crux right there. When we are in the moment, only that which is for our highest and our best presents itself. We do get an opportunity to make choices. And so now, in changing our ideas and beliefs about, in our thinking, especially for those folks in recovery or newly recovering, this is like, what is my life like, without picking up those weapons of mass distraction, right? Whether it's the booze or the drugs or gambling or food, what is life like without these weapons of mass distraction, of mass destruction, because they destroy me. And when we're connected, when we begin to actually see ourselves living in a manner that is healthy, that is loving, that is kind, we're making better choices for ourselves, better food choices for ourselves. We're we're hanging out with folks that are actually supporting our recovery. We're not cursing out the people we left behind, but we're just making different choices and different decisions based on our values, based on what it is we want to experience. And we're making a decision to choose life, to choose recovery, to choose connectedness. But before I could actually really be connected to others, it's so important that I'm connected with that breath of life myself, with that infinite power and presence, that God consciousness, that consciousness within me. It's important for me to have. That's the most important relationship, because that relationship is right here. And haven't you heard it said that we teach each other how to treat us? And when we're practicing self-betrayal, when we're betraying ourselves by not having that connection with the I am presence right here, without being true to ourselves, without being true to love, right? When we practice self-betrayal, we're teaching others to betray us. When we're not being kind to ourselves, we're teaching others how to treat us. And so that's why it's key to have a morning practice, to have an evening practice, and then throughout the day to sprinkle the day with other practices that remind you of the truth of who you are. And so for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we're not going to do this long today, because I've been talking for a little bit. I got super, super excited about our topic today and about all our interaction. I want you to know how much I value you. Let's just take a moment to go within. The invitation is, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes safely, that you do so. And if you're not comfortable totally closing your eyes, just have a soft gaze. And just recognize that beyond your name, beyond your race, beyond your gender or your orientation, beyond what addiction or thing you're recovering from, that beyond that, beyond where you live, beyond all of that, there's this life force that is right where you are. In other words, you're more than your name. You're more than your age and your race and your gender and your addictions or non-addictions. You're more than how much money you have, where you live. That all of that stuff is just stuff. Those are just titles. And that if you were to strip away all of that, like the roof is getting stripped away, that at your core, you are the breath of life. You are prana. You are that life. And as that power presence is right where you are, you're connected to that power and presence. It's kind of like being connected to the electrical socket. You are at source. That is your source. That is who you really are. That's who you really are. You are source. Now from there, how do you want to live? From there, what are the choices that you're making? Go ahead and set your intention for today. What's your intention? How do you want to show up today? How do you want to show up? As love, as joy, as peace? See yourself showing up. See yourself being love. See yourself being connected to this power and presence that is right where you are. This indwelling power and presence is always there. It's saying to you, I will never leave you. I will never leave you. I will never leave you because I am you. And with this consciousness, with this new roof, if you will, gently open your eyes and feel that power within you. Feel that presence that is your very life. And remember that life is a symphony. It's a concert. And you get to sing and dance and play. You still get to be responsible, but you get to sing and dance and play. I love it that you're here with me today. I just want to remind you that this week starts some support groups, and actually they're spiritual living circles, and you can find more information at aspiritualremedy.com. That's my website, aspiritualremedy.com. And as you check out aspiritualremedy.com, there are some support circles to help us unfold and grow. They're quite affordable, actually pretty inexpensive. And it just gives you a chance to connect and to be with me outside of just a Facebook Live. Know that you are loved and that I appreciate you. Thank you, Sunny. You have your intention today. She says, today I show up thankful and grateful. Yeah, as well as I am thankful and grateful for all of you being here today. Know that you are loved. So long. Bye for now.
Celebrate life. You celebrate your life. Celebrate the memories, the birds and the trees, the hugs and the kisses, the hits and the misses.
Don't wait till it's too late.
Don't wait till it's too late.
Love and appreciate.
Love and appreciate.
Show them that you care.
Show them that you care, and you'll always be there.
Yeah.
Celebrate life. Rejoice, rejoice. 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 Celebrate life. Rejoice.